Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever or whenever you happen to be listening to this. Thank you for listening to the Sales for the Nigerian Wedding Industry podcast. I'm your host, Abuja based event and wedding photographer Tabishima Ayede. Yesterday, we did some riffing, and hopefully, I was able to introduce you newbies on the podcast to some concepts, sales resistance and sales acceptance. And that was basically the answer to the question, why do people hold back? Why don't they seem to be taking the next step? Because we have new entrants into the game, young photographers, young wedding planners, and also some people with a bit more experience who keep getting frustrated by this phenomenon when they notice that you're vibing with someone, you guys seem to be clicking, and it's clear that the groom is holding back, the bride is holding back. There seems to be some hesitation, and so yesterday was me trying to introduce you guys to these concepts for those of you who are not aware, so that you realize that it's not about you per se. It's not like you have bad breath or maybe people from the village are chasing after you and you have bad karma. It's a normal thing. It's just sales resistance. Nobody likes to be hustled. Nobody likes to be hassled. Nobody likes to be sold to. So they're just keeping things to their chest and they're trying to size up the opportunity, size up the situation, and so basically it'll take a while to get things going, to get that sales resistance down, and then to build up on that sales acceptance. So today I'm going to riff on what sales acceptance is, just briefly. This is not going to be a systematic introduction to these ideas. What is sales acceptance? What is sales resistance? How do you build it up? How do you tackle it down? I will do that in a future episode because I'm trying to gather my thoughts. I think Tom Hopkins has a very practical exposition on how best to do this. So I want to take some time out, gather my thoughts, run through some of his resources, and then make a presentation about one of the best ways I think you can achieve this, and then tie it into how it would help us build our practice as wedding and event practitioners. So, if you remember from yesterday, I said that sales acceptance is just, basically it's a mental process. That's the process that the prospective customer goes through when they finally realize that, okay, it might be a good idea to get this product or this service. So that's the definition. But one thing that I didn't stress on yesterday, which I want to stress on today, is a lot of people engage these processes in a very passive way. So remember, I told you about my friend who is an event planner, a popular event planner in Abuja, one of the top ones. And he just gets constantly frustrated when he's in these situations. And as far as he's concerned, like, look, I've done what I've done. When they're ready, they will step forward and they will move to the plate. If they're serious, they'll be serious. If they're not, they're not. I'm not going to waste my time. And a lot of people have that mentality when it comes to this whole thing of building sales acceptance. They think, let's just wait. If it's going to happen, it will happen. And so that's one thing that I have to stress, that as sales professionals, we can't wait for the magic to happen. We have to be responsible for moving the client through the buying process. That is what is going to help us increase our odds. Now, no matter how good business is at the moment, remember, I said this friend of mine is one of Abuja's top wedding planners. Business could always be better. I mean, think about it. If last year you were able to do, as a wedding planner, I don't know, maybe 15 weddings at the profit of maybe 200K per wedding. I'm just running figures off the top of my head. I don't know the economics and the profit margins when it comes to wedding planning. So I'm just making up figures. So if the figures seem to be too high, bear with me. I'm just freestyling. If it seems to be too low, bear with me. I'm just freestyling. So if you're able to do 10 to 15 weddings last year at 200K profit per wedding, think about it. If that was just low-hanging fruit, then if you're able to come up with a sales process where you are responsible for moving them through the buying process and you're able to increase the number of weddings you close, and let's say the profit margins remain the same, 200K per wedding, but then this year you're able to do 30 weddings, that is going to make a lot of difference to your life. It's going to make things at home be a whole lot cooler, because when school fees come round and it's now time to pay school fees for your 3 kids, you and your wife or you and your husband aren't running from pillar to post and worried about where are we going to pull money for this and pull money for that. It's going to make life a whole lot easier. If you hear that Momsy's generator has broken down in the villa, fixing it is not going to be that much of a problem. If you guys need to pay medical bills, it's going to be a whole lot easier. Just because you've done one simple thing, you have decided to not just focus on the low-hanging fruit, that if it will be, it will be, but you decide to take some responsibility to see how you can drive the process along in a conscious manner. And the good thing about it, like I tried to explain to some of my friends, is that if you're able to be consciously involved in the sales process, you only get better and better and better. So, of course, yes, you will get to the point where the performance will plateau at some point. But the thing is, these things only get better over time. So you start by increasing the number of your customers. I mean, over time, you're able to increase the prices that these people that you get up your brides and grooms to pay. So I mean, the number of gigs go up, the profits go up. You're able to raise your prices. It's a better quality way of life than just relying on low hanging fruit. That, you know what, I've done my bit, I've done my song and dance. If you go B, you go B. I'm tired. If they're serious, they're serious. So let's not just rely on low-hanging fruit. So we have to be responsible for moving the client through the process. We can't leave it up to them to come to sales acceptance on their own, because there are lots of intervening factors that we are not responsible for. Sometimes you do the song and the dance, and it looks like it's going to happen, but then again, some other thing happens, like maybe a relative comes and says, let me gift you this, let me gift you that. And because you didn't take the initiative in the process, you didn't get them personally vested in the whole thing, as far as they're concerned, you become interchangeable. So the moment an uncle says, oh, let me gift you with a wedding planner, the response is not, oh, thank you very much, uncle. I found this wedding planner. Let me call him up so that you guys can seal the deal. You just say, oh, thank you very much, uncle, and then they'll just leave it at that. And the uncle will get any other, Joe Schmo or, Nkechi Nkuruka wedding planner or whatever. Sorry, I'm not trying to denigrate Igbo people, but I'm just saying, in my usual examples, I've been using a Kemi of, is it Everlasting or Evergreen Wedding Planning or something, just the character that I came up with. But the whole point I'm just trying to make is that you, Kemi, the wedding planner, you've been in this all along, but because you don't take the initiative, get them personally invested in the process and try and build some sales acceptance. When the time comes and uncle says, let me gift you a wedding planner, it's not going to be you. It's going to be somebody else, because as far as they're concerned, you are interchangeable, and then they'll get any other regular person. So, so that's just a summary about what it is that I'm trying to say here today. We can't just leave it up to them. We have to take the initiative here if we want to be effective in our practice. So you want to be an effective wedding photographer. Of course, you notice I'm not talking about the quality of your pictures here, or the quality of your decor, or your project management skills in getting the wedding to run on time. So all those things are important in how we build our businesses as wedding and event professionals. So the technical aspect, really important. So please, wedding photographers, my brothers and sisters out there, keep doing your thing. Keep up on those YouTube videos. Learn about lighting, angles, composition, posing, and all that. Wedding planners, keep doing your thing. Take your project management course. Learn about time management, how you organize your stewards and all that. You decor people, keep doing your thing. Learn about lighting and textures and tables and seating and floor arrangements and what have you. But at the end of the day, we also have to pay attention to this sales stuff, because without the sales, nothing happens until a sale is made. So until we start pushing people through the door, we're not going to have anybody to practice all our technical prowess and our technical skill on in the first place. So, yeah, so that's it pretty much. We now know what sales acceptance is. It's the mental process when they warm up to buying this good or service. They realize, okay, it's not a bad idea to have Kemi of Evergreen wedding planning. It's not a bad idea to have Kemi as our wedding planner. But the thing is, you, Kemi, or you, Kenichuku, you cannot rely on the client coming through to sales acceptance on their own. Take the initiative, guide them through the process. You have to come up with some process of your own. Now, remember, I said I think the way Tom Hopkins handles this is a real comprehensive process. I'm taking time out trying to gather some thought and some material so I can go into a series where we walk you guys through this. But in the meantime, like I said yesterday, Google is your friend. If you just hit Google and you check sales acceptance, you check sales resistance, you're going to find loads of interesting material about what these things are. And with some creative thinking, you can find ways that you can apply it to your business today. Whether you're a wedding photographer, you're a video guy, you do makeup, you're a cake, you're a wedding planner, or, for some reason, maybe it's because of a lack of creativity on my part. A lot of these things that we discuss, sometimes I find it hard to see how it would apply to MCs and pyro guys. But I'm sure it applies as well. Anyway, so let me wrap it up here. Thank you for listening to the Sales for the Nigerian Wedding Industry podcast. I'm your host, Abuja-based event and wedding photographer, Tavishima Ayede. I will catch you guys at the next recording.